That's correct. Well, that's right. You went out live.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for coming out today and attending today's conference. This is the first regional conference where I am officially an RC, so thank you very much for coming out. I'm really, really happy that everyone was here. I hope we all got a chance to learn something great, to network, and develop some really, really great connections that are going to last us throughout our entire times judging, and maybe even beyond, hopefully beyond. I'd like to introduce the panelists. There's myself, John Temple. I'm the RC for the regional, the RC for the Great Lakes region, not the regional Great Lakes region. Yeah, thanks. Anyways, so to my right is Scott Markwart. He is the communications project lead for the Great Lakes region. Jeez.
As I deserve.
Don't ever. On my left is David Elden. He is our conferences lead. And on my further left is Jeff Kruchkow, who is our mentorship project lead. Before we move any further, we did some testing today. Stephen Brown tested for level 2, and we have a new level 2 in the Great Lakes region. Stephen Brown, our region's newest level 2. What I'd like to do is open up the floor for any questions. And through these questions, we may add in some things about the various projects or various things that are happening within the region. But I love to do these things so that you get a chance to have some face time with the kind of central projects in the region and your regional leadership. So please, by all means, questions, comments, concerns. Try not to have random stories.
Not all at once.
Okay. Cool. So here's how we'll start then. So I'd like each of us to go down the line and kind of talk about a little bit of what we're doing in the region to help better the region. So we'll start with Scott.
Sure. So as John said, I am the lead of the conferences project. It's not just myself. I think Brian Rapp's around here somewhere. He's also on our project.
Which project are you the lead of? Because I might be.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want yours. That's communications. Communications. There are other judges from the region. Trent Novak is also a member of our project out of Ohio. Our focus is to make sure that everything that needs appropriate bandwidth has it. You may recognize my dumb face holding a banana from such spam as everything in the regional Facebook channel and the general channel in the regional Slack. One of the items that John was very keen on when he came in as RC was lack of visibility on applications as they opened and as they closed. The bigger picture there is that we have a lot of really, really good and talented judges in this region, and we want to make sure that judges don't miss application deadlines from our region and get out there and judge, get into other regions in the country and judge. The Great Lakes has an awesome presence here. We want to share that with the rest of our judge family. And that in turn makes us stronger too. Think of a judge from our region that goes out to maybe Grand Prix Denver's coming up in October, and they work with some judges out from the West Coast and see something really cool that they've just started doing out there, learns it, brings it back, and shares it with us. Which leads me to kind of the heart of, I know we're called communications, which kind of thing, you think, oh, just blasting stuff out. One of the real core tenets of what we do as a project within the region is taking content and making it available. And that's not just creating content. We do produce some content. We just started the Great Lakes Spotlight series to highlight judges in our region and the awesome things that they're doing on a routine basis. We have our monthly recap that goes up on the blog, but we're also interested in what you all have to say. Think of the culmination of all these individual judge careers, whether you're new or you've been around a long time or you've been doing it for a little bit of time. Everybody in this room's experience has been in some way slightly different. Everybody's gravitated to some area of the program or the task that's a little different than an area another judge is gravitating towards, whether it's operations or deck checks or really deep into the rules like David Elden. It's everybody's got something that they're more passionate about than maybe some of the other stuff. So we would love to hear from you. If you would be interested in documenting some of that expertise you've garnered, some of that knowledge you've got, if you'd be interested in putting an article together, we would love to hear from you. You can reach out to me, Brian Rapp, Trent Novak. Just John can put you in touch with me. I'm hard to miss on the Facebook. It's just my face over and over again, which is, makes me feel pretty good about things. But just reach out. We can offer assistance. If you don't think you're a strong writer, we can provide editing, and we can help you work with stuff. We will do the formatting for you. We're just looking for what's in your head to share and make everybody better.
Cool.
That's us.
Communications. David Elden with conferences.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm the guy who organizes all the judge conferences in this region. So thanks for coming to the judge conference in this region. I appreciate it. It makes me look good. So they really only gave me this job because I was the guy who had like a bunch of expensive recording equipment. So that's one of my big things. I think it's important that even the people who are in the region that are not able to be with us physically today can still benefit from all the amazing stuff that's going on at these judge conferences. And so I have been at every judge conference this year, and the proceedings of these conferences and all the presentations have been recorded and uploaded to the Judging FTW YouTube channel. This is no exception. The material that we have been recording all day today is going to be digitized, and it was streaming all day on twitch.tv/judgingftw. It will be uploaded to YouTube, which the account is also named Judging FTW. And our goal is to do that within 1 week. That is the thing that I do to make it so that I cannot slack off on that. See, now that I said a specific time, I have to do it, or else I look like a total tool, right? So,
we can cut this part out.
Yeah. So this is my goal. My goal is 1 week from today, you will see the presentations from this conference on YouTube at the Judging FTW account. So how can you, the people, help the conferences become better? Number one, feedback. Feedback is an extremely important tool. Everybody should have gotten a link in the forum that says where the feedback form for this conference is. Everybody who wants judge foils will need to fill out that conference reporting form. Yep. So that is phase one. Phase two is getting involved with conferences. If you go to a judge conference and you think it was awesome, that's great. There's lots of judge conferences this year. There's going to be lots more judge conferences this year, and we are going to be having as many opportunities as we possibly can to have awesome people sharing awesome information. Right now, we are at a spot where the consistency has been established. The baseline for judge conferences in the Great Lakes region has been established. And now the focus is no longer on doing a good job and convincing the region that we can do a good job and convincing the region that going to a judge conference is going to be worth their while. Now the focus is going to be on making judge conferences better than the last judge conference that there was. And we are stepping up the presentation quality, we are stepping up the professionalism of our recordings, we're stepping up the types of judge conferences to make them more relevant to you as judges in the region and more relevant skills that you are learning. And that is the awesome stuff that we are going to be doing in the second half of 2018. Now, John, you had some data on the number of people who were reached this year via judge conferences.
Yeah, that's a true statement. So we've had so far this year.
This is the 7th conference.
Yeah, this is the 7th conference. So we have about 275 judges in the region currently. Pull up the right document here. I was not prepared for that.
That was my bad. I should have
It's okay.
patterned more before I
No worries. I got it. So we have had in conferences this year. Oh my goodness, come on.
So, as we're working on that, the point remains. We have a lot of judge conferences this year. This is the goal when I started was one per month. The second half of the year, we already have the judge conference in August lined up and ready to go. Scott actually is going to be helping run that one. The application for that closes in 1 week and 2 days.
July 31st.
July 31st.
It is a mock tournament.
And
Those
that
of you
is
looking for comp REL experience, this does count. It'll be in Howell, Michigan, and Alex Smith and I are coordinating that.
Yeah, if you have never been to one of these mock tournaments, I will say they are solid. Raise your hand if you've been to a mock tournament in this. All right. Keep your hand raised if you think this was a great idea for a judge conference and that you are looking forward to the next time you're going to get to go to one. So if you notice, almost everybody who raised their hand for the first question is still up. So
Those of you who can't see, there's more than half of the audience has one or more hands raised. Some people 3.
Yeah.
There were significant improvements from the first one I went to, I will say that.
That is our goal. The third one is going to be even awesomer if I have anything to say about it. So the next one after that is going to be in Kentucky, Owensboro, I believe. The application for that one will be going live this week, so keep your eyes open for that. I'm sure that our communications lead will be.
You'll see me holding a banana, and it'll say something about a Kentucky conference.
So that is the next 2. The final 3 conferences this year have not been scheduled, but we have them. The dates have not been scheduled, but the locations have been worked out. The next one, the one that will be in October, will be in the Cleveland area. The next one, which will be in November, will be in Indianapolis. It will also be a mock tournament. And the final judge conference of this year, the one will be in December, will be in Michigan, probably somewhere in the western, like Kalamazoo-ish area. So those are the remaining planned judge conferences that we have people lined up, ready to go, and excited to work on those. John, I believe we have the numbers now.
Yeah, so if we're looking at full attendance, this is non-unique people. We've had 175 non-unique people attend conferences this year. As unique folks, we've had 104. So we've had almost 50% of the region attend a conference this year, which is amazing compared to previous years where we've had 20%. So big hand for you folks. Thank you very much. Like 50% of a group of 250 is pretty insane. So thank you. I really appreciate it, and I really applaud your dedication to getting better, to learning, networking, and developing your craft as a judge. Cool.
Yep.
All right. So Jeff, with mentorship.
Yes. My name is Jeff Kruchkow. I do mentorship, and mentorship is everything that wasn't said already. So I do, most of mine focuses on making you the best judge that you can be. Whether that's coordinating some advancement, that's recruiting new people, so when we get L0s that are interested and they send a message to someone like, hey, I'd like to be a judge, I help coordinate all the, okay, cool, here's some info, let me get you connected with someone. So if you're out there, there's a good chance I will hassle you in the future, especially if you're in a remote area, because you're the only one around that can help mentor new people in your area. So if I send you a message, I might be hassling you about that. I also help do judge classes along with Spencer Cole, who's in charge of that. We will be starting up the next round of judge classes in about a month. First semester went really well. We've already had several people in those classes either advance or take really significant steps towards that, which is really good to see the effectiveness of that. It's one night a week. And you get to sit down in a class for an hour with Spencer or myself or Mark Mason. Dalton, I believe, is also helping out. And just we go through everything. We're going to go through all rules stuff, all policy stuff, and it's open. Even if you're not necessarily looking to advance or you're already an L2, if you just want a refresher, they change stuff all the time. Every time a new set comes out, it's changing some rules or changing some policy or whatever. You just drop in for a refresher, or even if you are interested in how it goes, maybe you want to teach a class, drop in, see how it goes, and then maybe there's another one you can do in the future. That's a great way to get involved helping people, and you can do it, from your computer at home. So you don't have to go anywhere or any of that. We also are working on getting the Next Step program up off the ground and growing that even more. It started out as sort of just a Google form where L2s would put new information and do some things for new judges, and we're looking to grow that more into reaching out to new judges and really making sure that they feel like they're a part of the region. Especially with L1, the program can be difficult at the early levels. There's not necessarily as much for you to do. And a lot of times people will certify, and then they'll just sort of feel like out in the middle of nowhere. They're in their store doing their F&Ms, and they sort of just feel like, I'm not a part of this program. This is just a thing I do on Fridays. And so it's really important to us as a region that we sort of get them into this bigger community. We're all sitting here in this judge conference talking with other judges and going over stuff, and it's a lot of fun. And we want to make sure that everyone we bring into the program, we make them aware of that and then get them involved in the program as a whole. And that is most of what I do.
Cool. So that's kind of a breakdown of what's happening from our kind of side of the table. So hopefully that spurred some questions, some thoughts. Please, by all means, in the front here.
With Twitch being something that we're recording and having things live with, are we looking to maybe, okay, I can't necessarily drive up to Michigan, but I can watch it and I have a question about a thing. Are we looking to have actual
Lobby radios.
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
live
yeah.
participation?
Ultimately, as David and I have kind of talked about this goal, at some point, the North region did this, and I really liked it. We talked about it at the RC conference a little bit, which was basically having a conference that's fully online, where the presenters are basically on a camera, just like this, presenting to a group of people, and they can see like whenever we do Zoom for our monthly town hall meetings, where the presenter can see groups of people who've gotten together as social gatherings at their local store or whatever to attend this conference, and they can ask questions via online and stuff like that. That's definitely something that we have talked about, and it's kind of baby steps, right? We got to establish this pattern of doing conferences, and then we're going to start ramping it up and doing more things now that we have this base. Cool.
Is there anything that we should be looking out for with recent change as far as age restriction events or drinking?
So as far as that is concerned, that is more of a TO issue, but from the judge side of things, it's kind of business as usual, right? If there's a event that you are judging that allows alcohol use, remind people that they need to be responsible. That's actually part of the WPM policy, is that alcohol use is fine. However, it needs to be advertised. It needs to be one of those things that people are using alcohol responsibly. So keeping that in mind, talking to people, and recognizing that that's a thing. Also, whenever you agree to do the event, understand that people are drinking alcohol. Things can happen, and that being proactive is much better than being reactive in those situations. So if you see somebody who's starting to pound beers, maybe you step in and say, hey man, probably not the place to be pounding beers. Oh, did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Aaron.
How are we in growth of various numbers of judges and levels?
So, yeah, totally. So this is kind of a metrics question. So it's kind of hard to tell. So whenever I gave the initial state of the union, as it were, we had, 450, 500 judges in the region, somewhere in that number. It was a really, really high. No, it was actually not that high. It was about 350. Then we went through judge apps and we cleared out a bunch of people. because we had the differences between what was Judge Center and then Judge Apps, and then Judge Center was coming back, and then Judge Center went away, and now we're on Judge Apps 100%. So there was a lot of things. So basically what ended up happening was in all of that time, we decided to clear up Judge Apps and make it be correct. So Judge Apps basically culled the herd, brought us down to about 220 judges, 210 judges. And now we're sitting at around 250 or so, roundabouts. I haven't tracked the numbers specifically, but our growth seems to be fine. We're seeing a new level 1 pop up maybe once a week or so. We've got a new level 2 here today. I would like to see a little bit more growth on the level 2 front. I'd really like to see more growth on the level 3 front. But working with Jeff, we're doing a lot to start putting those efforts in place. So right now I don't have a specific answer for your question, but know that it is something that is on my mind. Any other questions? Thoughts, comments, concerns? Ben, what's up?
Okay, so after the last conference, y'all have realized there was like discussion of let's try to do something social online that you can do. So the idea popped up to do jackboxing, which I attempted to do and went over well maybe twice. And then after that, attendance kind of vanished. So as a region, and as I'm trying to think of other things we can do socially that we can probably do online. We're a fairly large area. And if anyone has ideas, thoughts, or need something, bring forth the idea. Because honestly, like, we need to like feel more as a unit. And I've been trying to do things, but unfortunately, whenever I post things, it doesn't get into traction.
Sure. So if you have ideas, if you have any ideas for how to help men out with that, how can they get in contact with you, men?
So Facebook's fine, or just propose the idea. Like, I thought jackboxing, someone has some other thoughts, maybe doing like a moto tournament, whatever you want to do.
Sure.
Just to throw out ideas and we can think about supporting leadership, myself, etc.
Something that they did in the UK that the leadership folks have discussed, and I'll talk a little bit about it here, because I think it's a really good idea and it's something that we are talking about. We haven't decided yet if we're going to do it, is actually having a Judge Open tournament, which is just basically a tournament that judges come out and play in. And, I would provide the prizes. There would be a modest entry fee, but it would be a judge-only event where you would participate for some kind of cool trophy that, I would have made up. I'd probably get some playmats made up. #gamermats. And it would be a really cool event. If that's something that you folks would be interested in.
It should be a 3 drop.
Yeah, there will be a special prize for the people who do that. But yeah, that's something that we've definitely discussed because bringing the community together and coming up with interesting ideas on how to do that is very, very important to me. Because again, we're not just a bunch of individual judges. We're a group. We're a collective group of knowledge. And unless we're interacting together and we're talking with each other, these things just don't pass from one generation to the next or from one judge to the next. So I saw a hand right there, gentleman in the orange shirt.
Yeah, I was going to make a suggestion,
Yep,
but
please,
it's more
please.
appropriate to suggest more activities, and I will do that later.
Totally, love it. Jesse, you were next.
I guess my first question is, who would judge that tournament?
So
my second question is, didn't we used to do like regional kind of get-togethers that were conferences? I thought we were trying to do that.
So those are effectively the community conferences, which is something that exists that most states have taken that into consideration at this point. If you are interested in something like that, please talk with David or reach out to some of the L2s in your community and say, hey, this is something I'm interested in. I really want to do this. Can we get together and maybe go bowling or something and we can kind of figure that out. About the first question though is actually a really important question though, Jesse, is that this tournament would be head judged by judges who aren't getting competitive REL experience. The head judge would be somebody who is wanting to be a level 2, and the staff would be those people who are interested in doing that. And I would obviously compensate them out of the entry fees from the tournament. So it would basically be a break-even thing for me, but we would host it in some kind of store and we would make it a nice kind of event. So next hand was, I believe, was Chris, and then we'll keep going around the room.
Mine is super brief. If I could just get one of you or each of you to kind of repeat the questions from the far back so that we're picking it up for the future
You got it.
viewers.
You got it. Next was, I believe, Sherwin.
No.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Lee, what's up?
So one of the things that, and this was obviously a little bit more doable in the North region when we were still there, was we held like once a month we would go to a local-ish store. We would go hang out there. We would have some kind of fun event, like it would be either a draft or something like that. And it also gave us the chance to like interface with the store leads and stuff like that, being like, hi, what are your needs for a judge, if any? Oh, you already have someone regular grade. Oh, you don't have someone regular. It was a good way for us to kind of get out and interact with other judges. Granted, this is a little bit harder, but we do have like pockets of people where you could come from like 30 minutes to an hour away and like hang out for the night, interact, and it was another great way to really network. I know Rob attended every single one for the most part. A lot of the area captains got involved. It was really a good time, and I think it would be something to possibly look into.
Yeah, our region is a little, well, actually our regions are similar in size, difference in people obviously, and population centers are a little weird here.
Yeah.
But I think that that's a great idea, and that kind of pulls on to the community conferences idea, which, you know, again, if you're unfamiliar with community conferences, check out our blog, blogs.magicjudges.org/Great Lakes. And on there, you'll find an article from David about or not about just community conferences, but about conferences in general. And it'll talk about community conferences, and you'll be able to kind of understand what we're trying to do there. And, you know, I'll put foils behind stuff. I've got foils to give out to you folks. If you're doing judgy-related things that are building the community, let me know. I want to help you out with that type of stuff. So next is Cassie.
If I recall, last year, I think it was, we like suspended some of the stuff for L1 maintenance, and we had to fill out a form. What is occurring this year?
Cool. What is occurring this year? Okay, so what's going to occur this year is all of the maintenance requirements as written, which means that as a level 2, you will have to pass a rules exam. As a level 1, you will also have to pass a rules exam to maintain your level. This is important. These tests are not designed to kick people out of the judge program. These tests will be designed to check in and say, hey, are you paying attention to current changes in Magic? Are you paying attention to, hey, we just changed the shortcut on combat. Do you have a basic understanding of how that works? Not on a high level, but just enough so that we know that you're paying attention to what's going on in the world of Magic. Those exams will be at the end of the year. They'll be relatively simple exams. They're going to be 12-question exams. You will have 2 attempts to pass it. If you don't pass it, that does not mean that you're going to be, well, you're no longer a judge. We're done here. No, it's hey, I see that you're struggling a little bit. Let's get you hooked up with a mentor so that you can have somebody who helps you move forward and get more connected into what's happening in Magic currently, so that you can stay up a little bit more up to date on the rules. That kind of serves as kind of a wake-up call to some extent as well. Cassie, do you have any?
Yeah, who administers it, and what is considered a passing score?
So it would be 12-question test to be 70%. It would be an online Google form, basically. Okay. Just like if you've seen the like GP rules Quizlet or the set Quizlets that come out, that I think Christian shared the last one on our Facebook page. It will be similar to that in style and shape.
Now, John, if you're a judge and you want to be sure that you're staying on top of all the changes that happen, do you know any great rules or policy resources?
Why? Yes, I do. So Rules Day Tuesday was pretty great, which it actually is. It's a really great resource. But there's also the regular set digest that David writes here. He writes that on his blog, which is blogs.magicjudges.org/judgingftw.
Just FTW.
Oh, just FTW.
Yeah, because it's already on the judging blogs.
Yeah, so it's just for the win.
Yep.
Got it. Or for Wayne.
So the one that covers the Magic 19 core set, which was published yesterday. So be sure to give that a read.
Links in the regional Facebook spam wall.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. And this and these little tests that we're talking about, like level 3s have been doing this for a long time. I have to take and pass a quiz for every set that comes out. That's part of my yearly maintenance requirements is to pass a quiz for every set that comes out and a policy quiz at the end of the year. So that's a thing. Just know that it's coming, and it's not something that you should be scared of. It's here to help you, not to push you out of the program. That is not the intention of this. It's to help you. Cool. Any other questions? Aaron, what's up?
So the transition from the PTQ to the PPTQ system was, loved by some and hated by others. How are we doing in the region? I'm pretty in tune with Central Ohio, but how's the rest of the region doing with PPTQs? Well, it's a pretty wide open question.
Sure. So PPTQs they're keeping everybody busy. I see that there is burnout from level 2s because there are a lot of PPTQs and they're solo events by themselves, and they're generally like 20 to 30 player events, and those aren't the most fun events to judge. I think things are going well there. I get fewer and fewer requests for judges from TOs, so that's a good sign that we're on top of, hey, there's a new store in my area that's got to Advanced Plus. They're probably going to want to judge. Let me go talk with them and see if they need a judge for their PPTQ. So I feel that that's definitely happening. So kudos.
Can I just volunteer if anyone needs any help with that? I've done a ton of them lately.
Sure.
I'm happy to help you if you have any questions about running one, especially for a first-time store or anything.
All right, so it's getting close to that time. So does anybody have any final questions, Sage things? We'll start with Chris and go to Alex. Chris.
Mine is the one that we always get, so I figured I'll throw it out there. Judge Swag Store.
So I'm working with a new vendor. We're trying to get all of that stuff settled. I was also waiting until the new name badges came out from Wizards. I have the templates, so I can work on that. And I'm just kind of waiting on prices because I don't want to charge a lot for shirts if I don't have to. And I want to try and get you folks the best deal possible. So I'm partnering with some new folks to be able to lower those prices as much as possible. So I'm fingers crossed, I'm pushing for August. Alex.
I was inspired a little bit by Aaron. If you have any questions about just wrangling cats and getting POs to talk to each other, etc., my door is always open. I do help and coordinate that for Michigan, which averages in the high 20s to about 30 PPTQs a quarter. So, yeah, if you're an L2 and think you guys want some more tools, your community likes some more tools, it's always available to help.
Cool. Any other questions? All right, so last 3 questions are going to be Jesse, Josh, and then Lee. Jesse.
So can we see what that new name tag template looks like? Like, could you post it in the group or something?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
Well, give us your name tag.
Yeah.
Josh.
This might be one that nobody has an answer to yet because I don't even know if they've done it yet, but Star City posted the new expanded look at all of our side events thing.
Yep.
Does anybody have any idea? Have they started that yet, or how it's going to work?
Baltimore is the first show where they're doing that.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's already happened.
It's happening right now.
This weekend.
Oh, it's probably happening right now. So then you won't know until the end of the week. Oh, so Star City, starting at SCG Baltimore, which is this weekend, has increased their side events offering. So their scheduled side events, they've offered a lot more than what they were previously.
For Rana,
yeah.
SCGF this weekend is in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. All right. Baltimore was last weekend. All right, cool. Lee, what's up?
So my question, I guess, would be to all 4 of you. If there was something like on your roadmap that you would want to say, like, I want to start advancing towards this, like, is that something that you guys would be able to have? Like, what do you want to work forward to towards the end of the year? Like, what is your goal if you have one?
We'll start down here and we're
Oh no!
Take a long time to answer, Jeff.
Yeah, no, mine are super easy. Second round judge classes are coming. I want those to be very successful. In my ideal world, which will not happen by the end of the year very likely, but eventually, I'm shooting for around a 70% mark on people who come into the class with the goal of advancement and within a short amount of time after the class reach that goal. So if an L0 enters the class, I would like at least 70% of them that go through to the end to become an L1 shortly after that. That to me would mean we're actually getting people enough of the information and in, not so boring of a way that there's like, man, this was awful. Absolutely not.
Okay.
And then getting a next step, just like off the ground, going, so that's just sort of a smooth automated thing. So then we can start to grow that and start doing even more for new L1s.
Jeff, how would a new judge candidate know where to look to get into this class?
Oh, we're going to have a post through the communications project that will outline both an interest form so you can give sort of information about what works for you and then also dates and stuff.
Jeff, what if those people are not in the regional Facebook groups because they're not judges yet?
We have an interest form that has also been going around as a Google Sheet to some people. So if you are a 0 and are aware, you should give me, or are interested, not aware, you should give me your email. And if you know someone who is aware, we will have that link on the Facebook page and you should send that to them, interested, not aware. Man.
I'll send you that link so that you have the full thing that you can just send to anybody who has any.
Yes.
And we can also share that onto the Facebook page if you want to share it to your local store Facebook pages as well. We would love to have more folks learning. Like even if people are like, hey, I really want to become a judge. I really want to find out what this judge thing is about. It's a great thing. David.
So my goals are first and foremost to have the final 5 judge conferences of this year go off awesomely and smoothly and without a hitch. I also have some plans in the works for perhaps there might be more than 5 judge conferences in the rest of the year, perhaps. So that is something that me and John have talked about. And if you are interested in being the organizer of a judge conference, then you can email or Facebook message me. So those are the things that I would like to, like the broad overview of the last few months here. Selfishly, I also would like to get 52 more followers on my Judging FTW YouTube page so I can change the name of it from youtube.com/lots of random characters to youtube.com/judgingftw.
Nice.
Subscribers, you said?
Scott.
Oh.
What happened to
you? Yourself, John.
Sure. It's not easy being a level 1 judge in this program right now. But some of the best judges I have worked with are level 1 judges. I think that we have some really spectacular people out there at not just operations, but conflict resolution and all the other soft skills that really go into making a good, well-rounded, solid judge. What I would like to see are people in this room, the 2 people watching, look around at the...
You guys are great.
My favorite 2 people.
Right
Look around at the... It's me and me. Look around at the judges in your community. You're the judge that does F&M or pre-releases at your local store. Look at the judges that do awesome stuff. I want them to get the recognition that might not be all-star quality, super shiny exemplar nomination, but really keeps this program the awesome program that I really love being a part of. And I want to feature those stories in our Great Lakes Spotlight because the people that are out there doing the hard, continuous, long-term work that makes player experience positive and keeps players coming back to this game is the thing that I think matters the most to this program. So I want to hear those stories, and I want to write about them, and I want to share them with everybody else because I know I can learn stuff from everyone in this room. Everyone in this region has something to teach me, and that's just from my own perspective. If we're honest, we can learn a lot from everybody else, regardless of level. So that's what I want.
Wow. All right. It's really hard to follow all of that.
Good one before.
No. So my goal is so whenever I joined the judge program was a group of individuals who ran great events. We were always working together to try and figure out better ways to run events. Everything, we were just events. Events, how can we make PTQs better? How can we make Grand Prix better? What can we do to make this player experience better? I want to start getting back to that idea. I want to start bringing us in and start coming back to the core of what being a judge is about, which is running great events. I want to start focusing. I want to see more articles from our communications folks on how to run great events. I want to see more conference presentations on what makes a great event. I want to see more stuff from the mentorship on how do we run these great events? Like what constitutes a great event? How do we I want that knowledge. I want that knowledge. What do I have to do to get it? So that's what my goal is to try and facilitate more ways to help each of you learn how to take back to your local communities how to run better events. That's my goal. All right, folks. So that is all the time that we have. So I want to again congratulate Stephen Brown on making level 2. Give a big thanks to Burn Bolt for allowing us to use this wonderful, wonderful campus. It's been great. It's been awesome. So let's give him a big round of applause. He's doing some work. And also to David Elden for putting this whole thing together. Big. And finally, for all of you, because we couldn't do this without you. So thank you very much.